G'day everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I've got a new bujo today. I got a traveler's size to kind of test it out and see if I like a different size other than an A5, and I am really excited to show you guys what I've done so far. So let's get started. July's theme is a mix of vintage and Violet Evergarden. And not gonna lie guys, I pretty much had all of my layouts planned out beforehand. It honestly took me 2 days to figure out and be happy with what I've got. You'll also get to see that I have most of my drawings and the accessories done for the layouts, but I will still have some of the process drawings and collaging throughout the rest of the spreads. I also edited this video a little differently than I usually do. I've decided to take out a lot of the time-consuming stuff and pretty much just cut through most of the things. So if you don't like it, or if you do like it, please let me know in the comments. That way I can edit other videos accordingly. Alright, now that I've got all of that out of the way, the spread that I'm working on is the cover page and the monthly calendar, and the layout is actually inspired by April Ann Arts on Instagram, and the drawing of Violet I found on Pinterest by Ona Julia, and thought it would really match the theme and the color scheme that I'm going for. I'm gonna keep not most, but all of my drawings pretty monochromatic with this sepia toned color scheme, which I think is going to tie in the vintage theme really nicely. So I'm also using some of my dark academia stickers that I had made for my reading journal, and I have been to a makers club here in my hometown recently that has a lot of crafting supplies that if you're a member you can go and use and bring home, and it's just a really nice thing for the community to have. So I actually got some more crafting supplies that I wouldn't have been able to get otherwise, like little doilies and some craft paper and a couple of other things. So I'm really excited to get to use those throughout my journaling. Also, I know my desk is chaotic. It's a really tiny desk. I don't have a lot of room, so I apologize because it's gonna just be a mess the whole time. Let me know if you work that way. I work in a mess most of the time because that's the space that I have. But if you are more so a person that needs to work in a clean environment, or if you're a person that works in a messy environment, let me know, because I am definitely a messy environment person. I also, for the cover page, decided to write in the font and style of Violet Evergarden. So you'll see that I've got the title card, and also I have written down the month of July in that language. I thought it would be a really nice touch and tie everything together. I'm honestly glad that there was someone out there that has already decoded the language that's in Violet Evergarden, because oh my god, the characters are so difficult. I would not have known what was what for our alphabet versus their alphabet, but you'll get to see that closer once we do the flip through and hopefully understand what I mean by that. I think I've said all that I can say on this one, so I'm gonna let it roll and pop back in on the next spread. Okay, so habit and mood trackers are coming up. I really like the way I've done this spread, and you'll kind of see what I mean. I've got some really fun, they kind of look like old stamp cards, I guess, for my habits trackers, and then I'm going to keep the graph style for the mood tracker because I really liked having a little graph, but I kind of needed something else for this theme for the habit tracker, so I went with something more decorative. So now I'm just going to give you guys a basic look at how I'm going to set this up with all of the options that I've got. And actually the font for these, I had these done and printed out for my D&D theme Bujo, but I didn't really like how they went with that one, but I think they worked perfectly for this. They kind of have like a cartography vibe for them, and I think it just looked really nice with what I've got going on for this tracker set. Also, props to anyone who can figure out which book I am using to mercilessly tear up and put in my spreads. Looking back on this one, I think I kept it a little simple, and I do like it, I really do, but I also feel like maybe it's missing something. I mean, let me know if you like it, awesome. If you don't, maybe it's missing something. I try to keep a little nod to Violet Evergarden in every spread, so there is one on this one, but I don't know if it's enough. Let me know your thoughts. I'd love to interact with you guys. Also, I know it seems like I track a lot of things. I have ADHD, and I use this to kind of keep me focused and keep me on track for the things that I need to do in life, and it's been a big help, because sometimes, I get one-track mind and I get lost. So this kind of helps me focus, because I can look back on it at the end of the day and be like, oh, did I do that? Maybe I should go do that now. And of course, I slack. I don't use my Bujo every day like I should. There are days where I do skip doing things, but I'll come back in and fill it in if I can remember what I've done the previous day. My memory does not serve me well, unfortunately, which is also another reason why I have so many trackers. Okay, so we're coming up on one of the process drawings, and I'm using sticker paper to draw these on. I also use sticker paper for all of the little calendar trackers, so I can use my alcohol markers, because alcohol markers bleed through most Bujo papers. But I really like the colors that I have of my alcohol markers for this theme, so I wanted to use them, and I figured out, thanks to Mingo Studio, that you can use alcohol markers on sticker paper and not have to worry about it bleeding through, because it's a sticker and it's not going to bleed through your Bujo. So, if you don't follow her or watch her YouTube videos, there's a tip for you, but I suggest you go watch her YouTube videos, because she's who got me into Bujoing in the first place. So I'm working on a little doodle of Violet holding her suitcase and the parasol that she gets. Again, I'm going to use that monochromatic kind of sepia tone for all of my doodles, like I stated earlier. And so I'm going to go in with a Prisma marker. I believe it's the sand color. And then also I'm using one of my Tombos. The color is 990. It's actually my favorite color of my Tombow gel brush, but I don't like how the water-based markers draw on the sticker paper. I think the alcohol markers blend in better, but it's such a small amount that I'm using it for, you can't really tell. I'm really excited to do more doodles like this for the rest of my spreads, because I don't know, there's just something about it. It's all cozy, and I really like the vibe it's giving me. Does anyone else get feelings like that when they're working on a specific theme for their Bujo? It hits differently for some reason, and I think this is one of those themes that's going to hit differently for me. I have just been really into this theme already, and I don't see that stopping until it's done. Now, I love this drawing, but I drew it too big. And you'll kind of see that when I try to place it where I want to place it. It's not going to work because, of course, the calendars are stickers and they're already stuck down. I've already glued down the tag for the mood trackers, so I can't rip them up without ripping the paper underneath. So, back to the drawing board. This one, I'm just sketching out really simple. It's a letter, basically. But I like how this one fits in a little bit better. But don't worry, hopefully I'll get to use the other one in another spread. But for now, it's going to sit on my desk and wait. Alright, I think that's all I've got for the process on this spread, so I'm going to let it roll again and I'll be back with the next one. Alright, now we're on to the first weekly. Since I've never had a traveler size notebook, so I did some looking around for inspiration and landed on Mochi Bujo because she has been using a traveler's notebook for this past year and I need some help at the moment. I haven't really gotten down how I want to do layouts and stuff like that because I've never used this size before. So why not go with some inspo from the queen herself? This layout in particular, I pulled inspiration from one of her June spreads, so pretty recently, and I'm sure if you go back and look through, you can see which one I pulled it from. But I did add, my own spins and the theme that I've got going to make it look cohesive with the rest of these spreads. The pen that I'm using is from Lyra. It's a fine liner. They come in like a metal tin, and I got a pretty wide spectrum of colors. Not, 50, I think I got about 20, but I really like them. They do take a while to dry. I think I mentioned this in my last Bujo setup video for the Ghibli theme because I used them in that, and they do smear if I don't let them dry. I'm getting a little bit better at that, but I still kind of make mistakes with it because I don't know about you, but I get impatient. I want it to be done as soon as my pen leaves the paper so I can move on. Anybody else like that? Because it drives me crazy if I can't go from one thing to the other thing immediately. So I drew a little coffee stain to kind of put in the corner, and I think it turned out really cute. If you follow my Instagram or see me on Instagram, you'll see that in my future log I did something similar. It's pretty much the same stain, I just made it smaller. And this is a memo pad that I got in the stuff that I ordered from Kia's D-Stash. I thought it went perfectly. I was really worried because I didn't know if I was going to be able to use any of my memo cards from that. But this fits so perfectly with the theme, and the colors are perfect. I also have a little drawing of Violet's metal hand to kind of put in there and frame. And these little square pieces, I cut those out myself because I don't have paper accessories, so I have to make them. Like all the tags you see, the cutout frames, I did all of those. I'm dreaming of the day that I can buy all of the paper accessories that my heart desires. But until then, I'm gonna keep making them for myself. Alright, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna let this run, and then it'll be time for the flip through. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.